Most people think breaking into investment banking is about having a perfect GPA, going to a target school, and networking with 100 bankers. And all of this is not easy. But what if I told you there was a way to hack the banking recruiting system? Today, I'm going to give you 7 hacks that top candidates use to get offers at 5 times the rate of everyone else, not just by working harder, but by working smarter. I'll be going over timing advantages, relationship strategies, and backdoor paths that exploit how banking recruiting actually works behind the scenes. The exact hacks I saw hundreds of students use when I was JP Morgan's recruiting captain. The crazy part about these hacks is that they're completely legit and actually pretty obvious once someone tells you about them, but almost nobody knows all of them because they're not widely talked about publicly. So if you're serious about banking recruiting and want to give yourself an edge over your competition, this is going to be one of the most important videos that you watch. Now, before going into the list, one cheat code you may already know about is getting an MBA because it gives you a clean slate for breaking into banking. And so if you're considering an MBA or are applying right now and need to take the GMAT, I highly recommend Target Test Prep, which I credit a lot for helping me score in the 99th percentile for the exam. Target Test Prep has been helping students crush the GMAT for over 16 years and covers quant, verbal, and data insights for the GMAT focus with 52 rigorous chapters broken into 1,500 lessons, over 4,000 realistic GMAT problems, over 1,300 instructor-led videos, 1,200 digital flashcards for studying on the go, and live online support from GMAT focus experts. Target Test Prep is also the only company on GMAT Club with a perfect 5-star rating, and they also have the highest score improvement guarantee of 130 points. You're able to personalize your study plan for whatever works best for you, and if you're interested, you can try TTP for 5 days completely for free using my link in this video's description, and also be sure to use my code rareliquid15 to get 15% off. And with that, let's go back into our 7 hacks for breaking into investment banking. Hack number 1 is the internal mobility backdoor, which allows you to completely bypass the traditional recruiting process, and this is especially helpful for those coming from non-target schools. Here's the strategy. Instead of trying to get an investment banking role directly, you get any role at a target bank like asset management, equity research, or wealth management for a sophomore or junior summer internship. You then work super hard to build a strong reputation and spend time carefully networking with bankers at the firm during your internship. You then use the firm's internal mobility programs to transfer into investment banking for your next summer internship or for full-time recruiting. This is exactly the strategy my Wharton MBA classmate Bruce used. He went to a non-target school and first did an internship at Goldman's research division in Salt Lake City before using the internal mobility program to land Goldman banking in New York. And you can learn more about his story in this interview that I had with him. The reason this hack works is because it's so much easier to get a non-IB role at a top bank. The acceptance rates can be 5 to 10 times higher because there's way less competition, and almost every major bank has internal mobility programs. And so if you're well liked and perform well, applying internally gives you a massive advantage because you've already cleared the brand name hurdle, internal candidates get priority, and your story becomes really compelling. The second hack is the program loophole, and this is one of the easiest ways to break into banking because it lets you bypass the traditional recruiting process entirely. Almost all the top banks have diversity programs for women, disabled, LGBTQ+ backgrounds, and also leadership programs for freshmen and sophomores. And if you fit into any of these backgrounds, you should 100% apply for these programs. These programs are one or multi-day virtual or in-person events where you meet bankers, and sometimes they even lead directly to super days with easier interview questions. For example, for JP Morgan's Winning Women, I know a lot of people who got into the program which led directly to a program-specific super day, and they were barely asked any technical questions before they got their offers for JPM. Now, if you don't have these kinds of backgrounds, another similar program you should definitely try are case competitions, which many colleges have. If you're able to place as a finalist, you often receive first round or super day invitations. And while this will require a lot of effort, it's still a lot easier than the full banking recruiting process. Hack number 3 is the boutique to bulge bracket ladder. And this is a super crucial tip for anyone who wants to break into investment banking. The number 1 most important common component all the most successful banking candidates share is solid boutique banking or related finance experiences in PE, investment funds, and etc. because this shows you have a credible track record for your interest in banking. And now here's the real hack. The easiest way to land these in-semester or summer internships at boutique banks is to find older classmates who have interned at them before and asking them to connect you with the banks, or at the very least, learning about their experience so you have an edge when applying for those banks. I also recommend finding all the possible boutique banks in your city through Google and then searching them in LinkedIn and seeing if you have any personal connections of people who work there so you can reach out to them. Whenever I was reviewing resumes at JPM and saw that a candidate had 2 boutique banking internships, even with a subpar GPA, they would almost automatically get a first round interview. And so this is truly one of the most important hacks for banking recruiting. The next hack is the insider edge, which is one of the most powerful ones on the list that anyone can do. And this hack will save you more time than pretty much anything else that you do during banking recruiting. The Insider Edge hack is all about finding one or multiple mentors who have gone through the banking recruiting process before and can guide you throughout your process. The reason this hack is so important and effective is that, first of all, you don't know what you don't know. You can do all the research you want about banking recruiting, but only someone who's recruited successfully for banking can tell you that the most efficient way to study for technicals is by digging through 10Ks and 10Qs and building models, or that cold emailing isn't effective when you're just spraying and praying 100 generic emails a day versus thoughtfully crafting 5 to 10 personalized emails instead. With this hack, you save way more time, and most importantly, don't waste key opportunities like first round interviews or super days, which can convert into offers. This means that you're done with the recruiting process rather than needing to get a master's degree or MBA down the line, or settling for a boutique bank and lateraling 1 to 2 years later for a better bank. The best way to get this kind of mentorship if you're still in college is to join the best business organization possible, which is what I personally did, and it was instrumental for helping me land my offer at JP Morgan. Older members helped me out so much and even mock interviewed me on the way to classes. Also, if you're looking for more one-on-one help based on your personal situation, at the end of this video, I'll share more about how you can work with me and my team in my mentorship program, the Banking Accelerator, or you can also check out the link for it in this video's description. Hack number 5 is the pre-recruiting relationship strategy, and this is all about timing your networking when most candidates completely miss it. So here's what normally happens. Candidates start networking right in the heart of recruiting season, and every analyst at every bank is bombarded with messages, and as a result, most candidates get ignored because bankers are just way too busy. But here's the hack. Start building relationships 1 to 3 months before your respective recruiting season. So if banks start coming to your college for info sessions in November, start building relationships as early as July or August. Or if you're a junior preparing for full-time recruiting senior year, make sure you're networking hard the entire summer before your senior year. When you reach out earlier, there's much less competition for attention, and when recruiting season comes around, you're not a random stranger, but someone they recognize and someone that they can refer you to other bankers, and that gives you a huge edge when you're recruiting. The next hack is truly the hackiest hack of the hacks on this list, and I'm talking about literally instant resume boosters you can do today. One example is Forage, which is a free platform that allows you to do job simulations, and they have one specifically for investment banking. And while this isn't a huge resume booster, it can certainly help, especially if you have zero finance experience on your resume and you're just starting to reach out to boutique banks to build your experience. You can also search for micro internships on platforms like Parker Dewey, which are much shorter than semester-long or summer internships, but these can be great resume boosters if you're short on time. Of course, this hack can't replace actually getting a boutique banking internship, but it can be one small step to showcase your interest in banking and finance to help you build your resume. Last but not least is hack number 7, the recruiting team fast track. When networking, not every banker you interact with is made equal. If you're able to speak with someone on the recruiting team, they can fast track your candidacy a lot more than if you were to speak with 2 or 3 bankers who aren't on the recruiting team. First, it's important to understand that banks divide their recruiting efforts into target schools who have their own recruiting teams and then a broader non-target recruiting team. The best way to speak with someone on the recruiting team is to make a great impression with any banker you can speak with, and then gently ask in a thank you follow-up email to be referred to another banker, ideally one on the recruiting team if possible. Speaking from my own personal experience, when I was leading recruiting at JP Morgan, if I personally spoke with a candidate during a coffee chat and I really liked them and they had a solid resume, they would basically for sure get a first round interview. And if I didn't like them, they wouldn't, unless someone else had a super great interaction with them. Now, it's not always easy to find someone on a recruiting team to speak with, but if you can, it's a super great hack and one of the fastest ways to land a banking offer. So those are the 7 hacks top candidates use to get offers at 5 times the rate of everyone else. And if you can effectively use even a few of them, you're going to be way ahead of your competition. With all this said, knowing these hacks is only one part of the equation. You also need to be able to execute strategically and flawlessly if you want to land an offer. And so if you're recruiting for banking and want personalized help for your specific situation, that's exactly what I do with my team in my mentorship program, the Banking Accelerator. You'll get one-on-one coaching, weekly calls with me, guest speaker sessions with bankers and buy-side investors, over 30 hours of video content, and a full system for the entire banking recruiting process. If you're interested in learning more about how the program works, click the link in the description below, and in the next screen, you're gonna see a video where I walk you through the 10 most important tips you need to know if you wanna break into investment banking. So definitely check that out if you want a complete roadmap for the banking recruiting process. Lastly, if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram where I share even more recruiting tips and behind the scenes content. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one.